Hey guys, good evening. We're off again for another edition of our Stocks by Request, where we talk about the top stocks that you guys requested, featured, asked, sent DMs on either Instagram or Patreon, and the comment section via YouTube. Yesterday's Stocks by Request, by the way, I uploaded it in the first channel. For some reason, I wasn't able to put it here, but it's there. We talked about ASEN, AREIT, Dito, and Now for that particular video. Now, I want to double down and talk about Aboitiz Power, and I want to talk about the index, and I want to talk about other specific stocks. But before I continue, what's so interesting about Aboitiz Power no, for today is they're issuing bonds once again. They're issuing retail bonds. So what they want to raise from the retail treasury bond offering is 30 billion pesos. So for those who are new to at least the world of investing, or you have not invested yet in bonds, please remember it could be distributed into two. Number one, you have stocks, and then number two, you have bonds. Companies raise money via stocks if they want to sell shares of their corporation. But if they want to borrow, which is the prevailing theme over the past few months right now, you have to remember we are in a low interest rate environment, meaning the lower the interest rate, the more conducive for corporations to have the ability to borrow lower. And that's why you've been seeing a lot of bond offerings for the primary purpose that they can get a lot of money and pay a small interest for that. And some of them also, their older bonds, they're retiring it, older preferred shares, they're retiring it, or at least they're calling it back so that they can borrow and get the same amount of money or even a larger amount of money for a smaller rate of for a smaller interest that they're paying. So baliktad no, as a investor in bonds, uh, it's not favorable to all of us if the rates are lower, but to those that are borrowing the money, to those that want to raise capital, the lower the interest rates, the better. And if you've noticed over the past months, the BSP has been lowering the rates, and there's a projection that if the economy is not as good over the next few months, there's an expectation that it may go lower again. So, that being said, lower rates better for corporations because they get to borrow lower. But I'll say this also that lower rates may also tend to be, in a way, no, it will be also favorable for the stock market, and we're seeing that also in other markets around the world, from Japan or at least US and EU markets, is that if you put your interest rate massively lower, uh, a lot of those funds that invest in capital markets, if the fixed asset market is not as attractive for them, then the main narrative of what they could possibly do is wala silang paglalagyan. If fixed income is not as attractive because the yields are so low, the money will just flow in the stock market. So in a way, no, lowering the rates does not just help large corporations to borrow money at cheaper prices. And please remember, may ripple effect yan. When they borrow at lower rates, they get to have the money, and somehow they get to strengthen their cash position to further protect them should they need cash over the next months. As you all know, we are still in a recession, but in the same way, more cash allows them to keep on uh, allowing more money to circulate in the system, allowing more money to circulate in the system. The ripple effect can, instead of closing this particular branch because they have more money, then they can actually sustain it still, meaning more people will still have jobs. They don't have to be retrenched. They don't have to be fired from their jobs. Also, in a way, uh, having more cash allows them to take advantage of some opportunities that may present themselves in the pandemic. So it's good for the corporates, but in a way, it's also good for us as stock investors, because given that there's no other place to go but the stock market in terms of getting better yields, it will allow stock investors like us to somehow, some way, reap the benefits of funds going into the market. So there. But let me give you also more details on Aboitiz Power. By the way, no, it's retail bonds because it's available to retailers. You have to understand that people always talk about the stock market as a place where capital is flowing, but the bond market has a larger amount of money on a regular basis. It's just that it's not noticed to a lot of retailers because majority of the money that gets raised or even traded in the bond market is basically institutional. But anyways, since this is a retail bond, it's basically bonds that's issued to retailers like us, and they want to raise around uh, 30 billion pesos. So um, let me give you a couple of details as I frame this for all of you. No, um, what we know right now is their board has approved it based on their December 14 filing. And that being said, also, the first tranche of the bonds that they would want to raise is around 4 billion pesos, and the rollout will be first quarter next year. So since the 30 billion in bonds that they want to raise is via tranches, it won't be in one go. It will be, as what I've mentioned, in specific tranches. So for this one, you have 4 billion, then maybe it would be continuously segmented in the next quarters for 2021. So again, as what they also mentioned, it's depending on the market conditions. So the proceeds of the first tranche of the retail treasury bonds will be used to refinance corporate debts and other general corporate purposes. So basically, as what I've mentioned earlier, mahal yung interest rate or mas mataas yung interest rate dati, they're getting this bond so that yung mahal na rate dati, they can pay that off, and then yung current na bonds na meron nyo or current na utang nila will be at a much, much lower rate. So, if you're a corporation, this is a favorable time for them to at least borrow money. Let me continue. They're borrowing also because it they announced last month that they scheduled 2 units of their subsidiary, a 1,336 megawatt coal-fired plant in Bataan, to start operating commercially around next year. So I guess it's an additional it's additional load also for them, capital expenditures also for them. So anyways, let me show you the chart of Aboitiz Power. Then allow me to proceed also with the other stocks that I would like to analyze as well. So comment below if you like this, that hinahaluan ko rin ng konting update on news, on certain issues that is happening for a particular stock, that it's not just purely just technical analysis. So there, as I show you the chart for Aboitiz Power, please do note this, that and if you're new, never buy, sell, or hold a stock just because it's talked about in YouTube. What I share to you here are my ideas and my principles and my strategies on how I trade and invest. But this is never me telling you, oh, bilhin nyo na itong Aboitiz Power or kuha na kayo ng bonds just because I talked about it. So I highly suggest that right after this, you do more research, you do your due diligence, because at the end of the day, what I'm sharing here are informational purposes, and it's your money, it's your responsibility. You have to find the time, you have to find you have to create a framework which will build your checklist, whether you should buy the bond as it fits you, or you should buy the stock based on the technicals that we're talking about. But never ever buy it just because it's discussed here. You have to build your own framework on how or you should buy and how you should trade. And by the way, before I transition to Avoid This Power, I just want to mention this, that um, yung bonds na yun, it will give you passive income, it will give you repetitive cash flow, and it should be higher than the premium bond. It should be higher than other retail treasury bonds. As you all know, if you're investing in corporate bonds, the rate is not fixed, or it's not guaranteed. It's not, sorry, your investment is not guaranteed. There's a chance that the bond or the company could default, pwede sila magsara. Unlike retail treasury bonds, or unlike bonds that are issued by the government, they're safe because the Philippine government will guarantee it, that they will pay for the bonds that they borrowed from all of us. So the risk here for Aboitiz is there's a chance that they could not pay for it, and they could default on it, and you may lose also your capital, or at least the investment that you put in. But generally speaking, because it has a higher amount of risk, you have the ability to actually earn more. So there, I just wanted to get that out of the way. For the chart of Aboitiz Power, you see right here, it's very clear that it's still consolidating. Main support line is at 25.39, as you can see right here. Main resistance right now is at the 28.65 level. So as this continues to push, please do note that it will try to attack this particular level of resistance. And if you notice it also, since October 1, 2, 3, it tried three different times with different moves of the candlestick. First try here, three candlesticks failed to break out. Second try here, two candlesticks failed to break out. Third try here, one candlestick, it did not break out. So it would be interesting to see how this happens. That while this is happening, all of the moving averages are also bullish, and price and volume indicators are showing though that money is moving out while all of this is happening. But the general context for Aboitiz Power is it's still generally moving sideways. And one of the reasons why, if you look at the drop here, no, from here it has just moved here, and it hasn't really, it didn't really drop, or at least really rally as much also compared to the other stocks in the market. Primarily because if we look at a lot of the utility stocks that we've been watching, since they've been generally somehow predictable that they will still have recurring income, there has to be something either significant that will cause people to buy it at a much higher price. So that much higher price are these resistances. So please do note this. Resistance is 28.66, then the next resistance is 30.18. Your support level is 25.39, followed by 24.47. So again, Aboitiz Power is currently sideways. Moving averages are supporting it. Your current resistance is at 30.18, or your next resistance is 30.18. Your initial resistance is at 28.5. Your support is at 25.3, followed by 24.25. Should we see the stock later on break out from the resistance of 30.18, then we are now looking at a stock that is now breaking out from the resistance. There's a possibility and a narrative that it will reverse and push massively higher. And that being said, these are the resistances for that 32, 33.66, and 36.21. Comment below if you're learning and if this is something that's helping you. Anyways, this is Aboitiz Equity Ventures, the parent company, basically of Aboitiz. This is a holding company. If you notice it, no, it has a slight downward progression. And if you put your support right here, it's trying to form a descending triangle. So one thing that I want you to look at is how strong this resistance will be, as right now it's trying to attack this current resistance level. So I want you to point out that failure to break out from this will just bring it back to the 41.9 level, which also over the past few trading days, at least months of it trying to attack this support level has held up. So the name of the game right now will be who will have a stronger preference. Is this resistance being the stronger preference, that it will currently validate the downward progression, downward push that we're seeing, or will the support line be a legitimate support that it continues to bounce? However, if this is a legit descending triangle, then there's a narrative that we may see a further downward push for the stock. So please just write this down and please watch the 42 peso mark, because if that does not hold, these are your next possible retracement levels. 37.8, then it could go here to as low as 28.96. But as of this point in time, there's no evidence yet that it can drop here because it's currently protected by the support at 41.8 and the support at 37.84. But as of this point in time, we could see that this is the main resistance that's trying to block it. Moving averages, though, showing that there's really not a lot of push, no momentum, that it's currently flat as of this point in time. I also want to talk about Union Bank, which is highly connected to the Aboitiz Group. And similar to a lot of the banks that we've been seeing, boom, large, massive push up. For those who attended our Stock Smart sessions, uh, you do know how bullish this move is, accompanied by, if I'll draw a resistance here, if you follow that particular breakout, then congratulations to all of you, because that particular breakout, no, and that happened lang end of October, would have given you somewhere around, I'd say 29 to 30 plus percent just riding that particular stock. So the difference between the three, Aboitiz Power sideways, Aboitiz Equity Ventures, it's forming a descending triangle. Union Bank break out from a very, very thin resistance level. While all of this is happening, money's moving in, it's continually pushing up. Moving averages are confirming the bullishness also of the stock. So that's where we are. That's what we're seeing for Union Bank. It just also broke out from this particular resistance level. So should there be any retracement possible, that could be possibly our next level of support. So I just want to pin this also as another support level. I want to pin this as the next possible resistance, and these are the next possible progressions for the stock. So from this, by virtue of our resistance from the 2017 area, April 2017, you can see that we have a resistance at the 70.51 level. So please do note and please do write this down, or please take note of this, that Failure to break out from the 70.51 level is mainly because there's a resistance there that was caused by a consolidation that happened last April 2017. So I'll probably end the video here. If you guys have other requests on stocks that you want me to analyze further, put them in the comment section. If you have a very personal question, slide them via Patreon or sabi ko Union Bank or via my Instagram. I try to reply to 20 messages a day. I get around 300 messages in IG. But as much as possible, I try to reply to as much as I can also. Pero based on the schedules and the timings, minsan 20 lang talaga yung kinakaya. And yun, those who requested for Stock Smart's technical analysis seminars, two ways for you to join: limited edition small group session end of January, which will be in Makati. Those who want to enroll in that, we have a few slots left. Link is in the description below. Second one is we're developing an online course, technical analysis. It's already being edited. It most likely will be first quarter of 2021. So for those who want to be part of that, we don't have a sign up link yet, but we have a link for those that want to join. We will send you an email once it's already available. There. Other ways for you to learn from me: books that are available in National Bookstore and Shopee. Link is in the description below. For those who want to learn via YouTube, I have different playlists also below that you can be part of. And then other links below. I guess if you want to subscribe, appreciate it and smash the bell so you get updated. And one thing lang din request ko for all of this is you could press the like button because it pretty much helps the channel. And I have a main goal for my main channel. I really want to hit 200,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Appreciate it if you could help support that. One way is via you yourself subscribing and hitting the bell. Second is by sharing that channel. I really believe that what I do and the videos that I put out is something that will greatly impact Filipinos. And if you believe that you're learning from this, you're earning from this, and you are benefiting from this, appreciate it if you could share it also to as much Filipinos as possible. So I guess that's it for now. I'm about to record another video for Channel 1 for our podcast. So expect a ton of amazing guests over the next few days. We have the CEO of eToro. We just had the CEO of Man Smith. We'll have the CEO of Lichu Property Consultants. We'll have the CEO of AREIT. Then we'll have Jason Lowe, also CEO of Unique, in the podcast. So I guess that's it for now. Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys. Merry Christmas. God bless you. God loves you. He has a purpose for your life. See you all again soon, and goodbye.